And looking to 2024 and the election, there are now growing questions over the future of the Senate. West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin on social media announcing he will not seek re-election.
After months of deliberation and long conversation with my family, I believe in my heart of hearts that I have accomplished what I set out to do for West Virginia. I have made one of the toughest decisions of my life and decided that I will not be running for re-election to the United States Senate.
Instead, Senator Manchin says he will travel the country and he's going to gauge, quote, creating a movement to mobilize the middle and bring Americans together. And his decision leaves the door open for Republicans to flip a Senate seat in the solidly red state. Joining me now, Republican strategist and radio host Melik Abdul. Melik, good to see you. Thank you. Manchin has been very open about his frustration with his own party and what's going on in Washington for a while, so this probably isn't a surprise. But what do you think was the straw that broke the camel's back on this one?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It very well could be that Manchin was simply exhausted. Many people, and I don't blame politicians who ultimately leave service because they're exhausted with all of the wrangling that goes on in Congress, or Manchin could be eyeing a 2024 run for the president on maybe a third-party ticket. I know that No Labels has been flirting with him about a potential run. So I think he's either simply exhausted with Congress or he's eyeing a potential run.
Right. So a third party run. Is he a viable candidate? Talk about what we know about Joe Manchin, his policies, his stance on major issues.
Well, Joe Maverick, I was getting ready to mention that many people consider him a maverick in the mold of maybe like a John McCain. Many Democrats in his party are extremely unhappy with Manchin because of some of the positions that he's taken, where some of the larger bills that the Biden administration wanted to address, Joe Manchin, along with Kyrsten Sinema, who's now an independent out of Arizona, they blocked that progress. So I think for a lot of Democrats, they may be unhappy with Joe Manchin as his, as far as him supporting some of the initiatives of the Biden administration, but they should be concerned about Joe Manchin actually leaving the Senate because it opens the door for Republicans to actually take that seat.
It certainly does, right? The balance of power, and Democrats hold the majority right now. Talk about the possible successors and how everyone will be trying to get their game pieces in place so that their party wins.
Love that you asked me that question, because I'll start out by mentioning Mitch McConnell. If you actually look at the recent Politico article, and I had heard some murmurings about this a while back, but it seems that Politico has now confirmed that Mitch McConnell was seems to be successful in convincing the current governor, I believe, Democrat turned Republican governor of West Virginia, Jim Justice, to actually run for this seat. I've seen nothing at this point that suggests that any Democrat that the party actually puts forward can beat the popular governor of West Virginia. So it seems like that Jim Justice very well may, nothing is certain, but it seems as if that Jim Justice very well may be the heir apparent to that seat. And if he does win, it would mean that Republicans only need to pick up one additional seat to match Democrats' numbers in the Senate, because I believe they outnumber Democrats maybe by 2 seats, maybe it's 2 seats. So it will be an upset in the political cycle next year if Jim Justice wins, because Republicans will only have to pull up, they will only have to win 1 seat. And with Sherrod Brown and I believe Jon Tester up for re-election, it's a possibility that Republicans could actually win those 2 seats in Iowa and I believe Montana as well. I'm sorry, Ohio, and I believe Montana as well.
I'm glad you brought that up, because former President Trump is taking credit for Manchin's departure from the Senate and his endorsement of Jim Justice. So there's a Trump factor in all this as well, as there always is.
Yeah, there's a Trump factor in there. And if you read that Politico article, it actually goes into how Mitch McConnell was the one who was actually pushing Donald Trump to endorse Jim Justice. So as much as many Trump supporters may dislike Mitch McConnell, this is Mitch McConnell at his best, because it's Mitch McConnell who, according to Politico, understanding Donald Trump's position, Mitch McConnell is behind Donald Trump actually endorsing Jim Justice.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.